Hey guys, how's it going? Yuri here. Welcome to this episode of Ask Yuri. I've got a very interesting question today. I don't think I've actually answered this before. And before I do, I should actually warn you, you may want to turn the brightness down on your computer screen if this solar emitting yellow t-shirt is too much for you. So just to kind of forewarn you. But anyways, this question, I got my laptop here. This question comes from Anne, and here's the question. So after listening to your suggestions about juicing vegetables, I was wondering how using raw cruciferous vegetables would affect my thyroid. I have been told that I have hypothyroidism, but refuse to take Synthroid for it. I don't want to mess up anything further with cruciferous vegetables. So this is one of the most common questions I get asked, and it's kind of weird that I haven't actually done a video on this yet. So, you know, it's interesting because I'm just trying to put my computer down here. So the interesting thing is that the research, scientific research on human beings show absolutely no negative effect of cruciferous vegetables, whether it be kale, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, broccoli. Even if they're steamed, even if they're cooked, even if they're eaten raw, they're not going to affect your thyroid. Okay? They have compounds called glucosinolates that were theorized to, in their kind of broken down versions, impair thyroid function. And the only reason that came about is due to some animal studies that was done a long time ago that didn't translate over into human studies, whether it be anecdotally or even scientifically. I know a lot of clients as well as colleagues who have Hashimoto's, which is an autoimmune form of low thyroid function or hypothyroidism, and they're big into juicing. They eat plenty of green vegetables, and their thyroid symptoms and markers have only improved. So I want you to feel okay with eating things like kale and broccoli and Brussels sprouts and cauliflower, because remember, here's the thing, they have unbelievable compounds in them, like glucosinolates and sulfur containing compounds like endyl-3 carbinol, for instance, which have been shown in hundreds if not thousands of studies to be the most the most effective, or some of the most effective phytonutrients or plant nutrients in combating cancer. Okay, so don't worry, it's not going to hurt your thyroid. They're going to give your body the nutrients that it requires to help prevent cancer, and those very same nutrients are very important to help your liver detoxify properly. Okay, so kale is something I use in my juices and my smoothies on a regular basis. I don't do it every single day because variety and rotation is really important. So don't do the same thing all the time. Maybe one day kale, next day spinach, next day Swiss chard. But I've never met anybody who by eating more greens worsened their health. The second and more important issue to consider is considering how beneficial from a health perspective these green vegetables are. And now that you know that there's really no scientific research among humans that shows any statistically significant impact, negative impact on the thyroid, and you also know how beneficial they are for preventing cancer and other diseases, here's something else I want you to think of. A lot of times, the very people that are asking me these questions are also chomping away on copious amounts of bread and gluten-containing products. Now, why would I say that's an issue? Well, here's the thing. Cruciferous vegetables don't impact your thyroid. What does impact your thyroid in a very, very significant way is gluten. Gluten has been shown to be one of the biggest risk factors for Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. And the reason for that is because gluten, the protein structure is very similar to the protein structure of your thyroid tissue. So with constant exposure to gluten, for instance, from breads or cereals or pastas, your immune system no longer understands what to do. It gets bombarded with this kind of damaging protein, and that comes into the bloodstream, and then it's mounting an immune response all the time. So this constant exposure, eventually the immune system kind of goes haywire and can turn against itself. And that's what happens with Hashimoto's. 90% of hypothyroidism or low thyroid kind of conditions is Hashimoto's, meaning that low thyroid for most people is an autoimmune disorder. One of the biggest things you can do to prevent autoimmune disorders and keep them at bay is to remove gluten from your diet. Okay, it's one of the worst things you can bring into your body. And if you need an alternative to bread, then you can, believe me, there's a lot of alternatives out there, right? With pastas, you can use a rice pasta, a quinoa pasta. Cereals, you should probably not, eat them in the first place. But again, if you follow any of my recipes, you're gonna get copious amounts of amazing alternatives to bread and cereals and pastas that are so much more delicious and much better for you. So Anne, and for anybody else wondering this same question, I hope this answer gives you a bit of relief, that you can enjoy your broccoli, you can enjoy your Brussels sprouts, your cabbage, your sauerkraut, your kale. It's all good. And you know what? If you're worried about the oxalic acid, like some people say, don't worry about that either. Unless you have oxalic acid stones in your kidneys already, no amounts of greens is really going to make any kind of significant impact from a negative standpoint on that either. So anyways, I hope you found this finds you well. If you find this video helpful, be sure to send it over to somebody you know who is asking this very same question, or somebody you know who is dealing with low thyroid symptoms or Hashimoto's, because this information could save their life. Okay? And this is why I do what I do, because I'm really passionate about getting good information into your hands so that you're no longer taken for a ride by all this misinformation out there. So anyways, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, be sure to do so, and so you don't miss a single video coming your way. And once again, thanks for joining me. I'm Yuri Elkaim, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.